Hey, this is Victor from Heel Hook Photography. I wanted to do this project for a real long time, and I was finally able to do it over the summer. I wanted to get 6 ladies of all different belt levels, ask them one question, and then see how the answer changed throughout their journey. To get the black belt, as there wasn't any local at the time, I organized a ladies-only seminar in my home gym, Clinch MMA in Poco, and Emily Kwok led it. Besides my regular sponsors, I gotta give a huge shout out to Inabreeze Marketing and Details Clothing for co-sponsoring this event. Both of the companies are run by badass females who are part of our BJJ community. Inabreeze Marketing helped me with Heel Hook Photography a couple months ago, and they also promoted this event for me and provided refreshments for the seminar. Details Clothing gave a discount code and gave me 3 gift certificates to raffle off after the seminar. She also gave each of my interviewees a pretty badass tank top. Emily is super chill, and I fanboyed pretty hard when we started the interview, hence why some of the video is a little off. Anyways, here we go. From right to left, we have Angie, a juvenile green belt from Clinch MMA, Quinn, a white belt from Clinch MMA, Andrea, a blue belt from Gracie Baja, Donna, a purple belt from Budo MMA, Jane, a brown belt from East Van BJJ, and Emily Kwok, the black belt, owner of Princeton BJJ in New Jersey.
Well, when I first told my friends that I did jiu-jitsu, they kind of just brushed it off because they're like, oh, so it's kind of like wrestling? And I'm just like, sorta, I guess. I mean, like, there's a lot more technique to it. And they're just like, so I can just do like this to you or something. I'm just like, okay, no. And then, like, I don't know, like, unless you start out with jiu-jitsu and like actually know what it's about, like, I don't think they'll like really get it until they actually give it a shot. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like, they kind of just, and then I brought one of my friends in to clinch, actually, and then, you know how new people, they kind of have, like, an ego when they get on the mat, so then I rolled with him, submitted him, and then he's just, like, he got really pissed off, and I was just, like, and then, like, on the wall, there's, like, a set of rules, I'm just, like, rule 14, keep your ego off the mat, and then he's just, like, he kind of just, like, kind of looked down and I'm just like, yeah, okay, think about that. And then he like loosened up, you know, and then afterwards he told me, he's just like, that was a really like good class, really educational and stuff. And he's like, I didn't know how uncoordinated I was until I took this class. I'm just like, jiu-jitsu does that. Yeah.
I get like one of 2 reactions. One is they start laughing at me because I'm so small and you trained? Yeah, so typical, yeah. And the second is like, oh, I better not mess with her or something like that. So it's either of the 2. And then sometimes they ask me, well, what do you do? Is it for self-defense? But I think it's just for me and just getting better and challenging myself. And it's not really to beat anybody up, but just to see what I can do and grow and learn from it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Andrea, you seem to have the same
Yeah, I was going to say the same 2 reactions. It's like,
ha 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 ha.
You do jiu-jitsu, like you're too cute to do jiu-jitsu, right? They say stuff like that, right? Yeah. And another one is what did you say?
Oh no, I better stay with you.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, so you could beat me up then.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah.
I get that too.
Technically, you could. Yeah, we always get that. It's like the main 2 things. Well, to that, I say, yeah, I can beat you up, but like usually, like for Brazilian jiu-jitsu, people are the nicest people.
Yeah, we don't need to.
I've never met like a bad intentional person in jiu-jitsu. And then the people that say, oh, like you're too cute to do jiu-jitsu. And I say, well, like I'm not cute when you see me see me rolling on the mat. I don't think you're gonna think I'm cute anymore.
I have pictures of your face.
You've got the proof.
I've got the proof.
You look the prettiest after training.
All right.
That's about it. Like they don't know until they try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they realize they're missing out in life.
It's true. Donna?
So I also get 2 reactions that are usually a little different from those 2. The first reaction is usually if they're a martial artist, there's like, oh, cool, like that's great, and there's a kind of respect. You know, especially if they know what jiu-jitsu is, they might be like, oh, that's hardcore, that's great, it's great that you do that. But the more common reaction is someone, you know, I'd be like, oh yeah, I train jiu-jitsu, and they're like, but you seem like such a nice, calm person. Like, why do you beat people up for fun? Like, no, I don't. I don't think you understand. There's a philosophy of jiu-jitsu, and then there's the physical part of jiu-jitsu. And, ideally, even this doesn't always happen, but ideally they're hand in hand, and you train and you learn both of them. And so usually that's what I try to tell people is like, look, there's a reasoning and a thinking and a culture behind jiu-jitsu as well that actually, if you knew it, is very fitting of someone who's very calm and respectful.
For me, it's usually when they find out that I do jiu-jitsu, is if they don't know what is it, and I explain to them, and a lot of people do think it's a lot like sambo. They're like, oh yeah, or judo, it's like pinning and a lot of knee reaping, knee bars, and so I explain to them, well, not necessarily, but yeah, kind of. And the ones who do, they'll always ask me what belt am I? And, yeah, and they're just like, oh wow, you've been doing it for a long time then, when you realize what belt.
They probably like brown belt, like ocean.
No, it's mostly very curious as they want to know, oh, okay, do you know Mackenzie Dern? Do you know Michelle Nicolini? Do you know, been watching the people that do know about jiu-jitsu, the guys anyways, because, they say Mackenzie is hot, so they're like, oh, dude. I'm like, yes,
It always comes down to the hot factor.
It does, always. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I find that it's generally either a perspective of they know a little bit or they don't know anything at all. So if they know a little bit, they'll be like, wow, jiu-jitsu is really badass, like those are people that I would say have some familiarity with like MMA or martial arts or combat sports to some degree. So they're usually curious to find out how long I've been training and why I've been doing it. And then the other perspective is, sometimes I'll get it at the nail salon. Somebody will say, oh, your legs are very muscular when they're doing a pedicure. And I'll be like, oh, I do martial arts. They're like, what do you do? And I'll say, oh, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then some woman from the back of the salon will be like, oh my God, are you a black belt? My children are black belts. Yeah. I'm like, oh, do they do Jiu-Jitsu? And they're like, no, they're black belts in Taekwondo. And I'm like, okay. I was like, it's a little bit different, So I think what most commonly happens is I try to educate people that have no idea what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, because I kind of look at it as almost like personal training. Like, you can't throw an absolute beginner who's never worked out a day in their life into a hardcore routine, and you kind of have to meet them at their level and say, okay, today we're gonna like run for 2 minutes and do like 5 sit-ups and 5 push-ups, and that's how I sort of introduce what Jiu-Jitsu is. And I'm like, do you have any idea what it is? No. Have you ever watched wrestling or judo? It kind of looks like that, except we use a series of joint locks and, et cetera, to dominate and subdue our opponent. They're like, oh, that sounds really interesting. But I think, in mainstream culture, people are far more comfortable and aware of Taekwondo black belt versus Jiu-Jitsu black belt because it's more mainstream and it's more accessible, right?
Yeah, like if somebody asks like what belt I am, I'm like, oh, I'm the blue belt, and I'm like, oh, like how long have you been training? Like 2 months? I'm like, no, I've been training like 5 years. So like there's not as many belts as Taekwondo, and it's much different. Like you can't.
There's no immediate gratification in Jiu-Jitsu.
No.
It's like a slow, long death.
Honestly, it feels more like a belt in some ways as an obligation that you have to live up to. It's not like you wear the belt and suddenly you have this pride you're showing off. It's you walk into a room and you're a higher belt, like you have to own that. You have to perform at that level.
Yeah, that's very true.